Snowflakes danced like ashes in the Manhattan air, settling on cracked sidewalks and steaming vents. The city moved fast, as always, cars honking, footsteps rushing, neon flickering. But Ethan Miller stood completely still. His eyes were locked on a boy weaving through the crowd. Ragged hoodie, torn jeans, but around his neck, swinging with every step, hung a small silver pendant, the exact one Ethan had designed 5 years ago for his daughter. The same one Lily was wearing the day she vanished without a trace. For a moment, Ethan forgot how to breathe. His mind tried to reject it. Maybe it was just a coincidence, a replica, a mistake. But deep down, something ancient and primal screamed, "That necklace is hers." The boy disappeared into the next street. Ethan moved, fast, driven by something deeper than instinct. He pushed past a group of tourists, nearly slipped on the icy curb, heart pounding louder than the city itself, that he finally cornered the kid in a narrow alleyway behind a diner. The boy turned sharply, ready to run, but when Ethan called out, "Where did you get that?" everything froze. The kid's eyes weren't defiant. They were terrified. Not of Ethan, of something else. Silence stretched between them. Then, the boy's voice cracked through the cold. "You're her father, aren't you?" That's when Ethan knew his daughter wasn't gone. She was out there, and someone had been lying to him all along. Before the headlines, before the grief carved lines into his face, Ethan Miller was a man the city admired, that he owned a chain of successful real estate firms, drove sleek cars through the Upper East Side, and carried a reputation as polished as his Italian suits. His name opened doors in boardrooms and charity galas alike. But behind that polished exterior lived something softer, something sacred. That was Lily. She was the only thing that ever slowed him down. Pancake Sundays, matching socks she picked out, those 10-minute bedtime stories that always turned into 30. His world did not orbit his business. It orbited her. Then came that afternoon. The nanny had taken Lily to Central Park. A routine walk. Crowds. Balloons. Laughter. Lily let go of her hand for 1 second near the carousel, and then she was gone. No scream. No trail. Just absence, as sharp and sudden as a knife to the chest. What followed was not healing. It was erosion. Ethan stopped attending meetings. The penthouse lights stayed off. He tore through leads, bribed officers, hired private investigators, shouted at the press. For months, he poured every dollar, every favor, every ounce of breath into the void, and the void gave him nothing. The police labeled it a cold case, and just like that, the world moved on. But Ethan did. Not out. He withdrew. From the city, from friends, even from those who wanted to help. His home became a mausoleum of memories. Her room untouched, toys still where she left them. Tiny shoes by the door. One man remained. Tyler Grant. Childhood friend. Business partner. Brother in everything but blood. Tyler was the one who showed up, day after day, with groceries, with silence, with loyalty. When the world felt poisoned, Ethan drank from the cup of that one friendship. But even that, he would later learn, had a bitter aftertaste. Still, at the time, it was the only thing tethering him to sanity. And so Ethan waited, not with hope, but with haunted eyes, for a phone call that never came, a knock that never landed, or a miracle he stopped believing in. Until that night in Manhattan, when a stranger's necklace shattered the silence. The evening was quiet, too quiet for a city like New York. Ethan stood by his car on Fifth Avenue, waiting for the traffic light to change, lost in thought as usual. He had grown used to moving through life like a ghost. But then, something cut through the fog in his mind. A boy, maybe 12 or 13, darted between cars, selling candy. His clothes were torn, his hands dirty. No one paid him any attention, except Ethan, because around the boy's neck hung a necklace, not just any necklace. Her necklace, silver chain, small butterfly pendant, a chip on one wing. Ethan remembered it clearly. He had chosen it for Lily's 9th birthday, the last birthday she ever had. His heartbeat kicked like thunder. The boy slipped through the crowd. Ethan moved fast. "Hey," he shouted, pushing past a man with a briefcase. "Wait, I need to talk to you." The boy looked back once, eyes wide, then ran. Ethan chased him across 2 blocks, ignoring horns and angry shouts. The boy cut into an alley behind a diner, thinking he had lost him. But Ethan followed, cornered. "Do not move," Ethan said, out of breath. I am not here to hurt you. Just tell me, where did you get that necklace? The boy stood tall, ready to fight. His name was Jaden, though Ethan did not know that yet. I did not steal anything, Jaden snapped. Back off. Ethan pulled a photo from his wallet. Old, worn from being touched too often. He held it out with shaking hands. This is my daughter. Her name is Lily. She disappeared 4 years ago. That necklace, it is hers. Jaden looked at the photo. Everything changed. His eyes filled with something deeper than fear. Something like guilt that he stepped back, his voice suddenly soft. She gave it to me. Ethan froze. What did you just say? Jaden nodded slowly. She is alive. But she is not safe. The alley went silent. Ethan's world stopped spinning. Every second without her had been like a wound. And now this boy, this stranger, was saying the one thing he had stopped daring to hope for. Alive, not safe. Where is she? Ethan asked, but Jaden's eyes darted toward the street. Not here. Not now. People are watching. People who would not want me talking to you. He took a step closer. I will tell you everything. But if you really want to save her, you will have to trust me. And with those few words, everything Ethan believed about the case, about the people around him, about the life he had been mourning, shattered. The truth was not behind him. It was waiting ahead, buried beneath secrets more dangerous than he could imagine. They sat on a rooftop above a closed hardware store, both silent for a long time. Jaden held the pendant tightly, like it carried weight heavier than silver. He did not look at Ethan, just stared at the glowing skyline. Cold wind passed between them, but neither moved. Finally, Jaden spoke. I met her by accident about 3 months ago. Ethan's body tensed. She told me her name was Elle. Jaden continued, still avoiding eye contact. She said she was homeschooled, that she lived with an older woman outside the city. But that woman was not her mother. And the place, it felt like a prison. Ethan's jaw clenched. Where? I do not know exactly. Somewhere past Yonkers. It was a big house, but run down. Windows always shut. A tall man with a shaved head used to bring groceries once a week. She said he was her uncle. He never smiled. Jaden paused. One night, she showed me this necklace. Said it was the only real thing she had left. She asked me if I believed in vanishing. I thought she meant magic or something. But then she said something that stuck. He finally looked at Ethan. She said, they told me my dad gave up. That he stopped looking a long time ago. Ethan felt something crack inside his chest. The idea that Lily believed that she thought he had stopped, was worse than all the grief combined. I tried to help her escape, Jaden went on. But she said they would find her. That they always did. Ethan nodded slowly. Who are they? Jaden hesitated. His fingers tightened around the pendant. She never said names. But one time, she slipped. She said, Tyler told them I would forget everything. I asked her who Tyler was. She just went quiet. But I remembered the name. Ethan's stomach dropped. Tyler. That he knew dozens of Tylers in the business world. But only one Tyler could be close enough to matter in Lily's life. His best friend. His brother in all but blood. The man who sat beside him during every interview, every press conference. The only one who never left. Memories rushed back like floodwater. Tyler bringing him coffee the day after Lily vanished. Tyler insisting he takes sleeping pills. Tyler suggesting he stop blaming himself. Tyler saying, some wounds never close. Had all of it been staged? The charity walks, the grief counseling, the nights spent drinking in silence. Had Tyler known all along? Jaden spoke again, his voice quieter now. She said he used to visit the house when no one else was around. That he told the woman taking care of her that she was never to be let near a phone. No internet. No visitors. And if she ever tried to run, they would make her disappear for real. Ethan looked away, fighting the urge to scream. None of it made sense. And yet it all made sense if Tyler was behind it. Every missed clue, every delay in the investigation, every sudden shift in media attention, it was all part of the same sick plan. She is not safe, Jaden said again. I do not know what they are planning next. But it felt like something was about to change. Ethan turned toward him. His voice was low but steady. Then we change it first. Because if Lily had been told her father gave up, it was time to show the world he never did. Ethan knew he could not do this alone. The truth about Tyler was too dark, too complicated. He needed someone who understood the system and how to move against it without being seen. That was when He remembered Madison Rivera. Years ago, she had helped a friend's family during a missing child case. Ethan remembered her name because of how fierce she had been, a lawyer who did not care about power or titles. Only truth that he found her. Working late in a quiet downtown office, her desk filled with files and coffee cups. She listened without interrupting. When Ethan finally finished, Madison leaned back and looked at him for a long time. Then she asked one question. "Do you believe your daughter is still alive?" "I do," Ethan said, because a boy who had every reason to lie chose not to. Madison nodded. "Then I believe you both. But this will not be easy." Nothing about it was. Madison started digging quietly. No police. No headlines. Just names, numbers, and trails that powerful people thought they had erased. Meanwhile, Ethan made a decision that shocked everyone in his corporate circle that he sold part of his company's shares, not to retire, but to disappear that he left his penthouse, shut off his phone, and under the name Daniel Evans, he moved into a small rented apartment in the Bronx, just 3 blocks from where Jaden stayed. The walls were thin. The heater barely worked, but it was exactly what he needed: silence, focus, and no distractions. Jaden visited often. The boy was fast, sharp, and unnoticed by most people. He started watching certain streets, memorizing faces, learning patterns. He was not just a survivor anymore. He was the eyes. Madison kept digging, and what she found made the picture clearer and more terrifying. Tyler Grant was not just Ethan's best friend. He was also the hidden owner of 3 shell companies, all registered under false names, all linked to shady donations and silent investors. One of the companies was tied to a private security firm. Another was a real estate holding, with properties far outside the city, some abandoned, others never listed publicly. The last company? It had connections to a nonprofit focused on child rehabilitation. Jaden's voice echoed in Ethan's mind. "They told her you stopped looking." Madison showed Ethan the documents late one night. "This is not just betrayal," she said. "This is a network. Hidden money, ghost addresses, and political donations that have kept people quiet for years." Ethan stared at the map she had drawn. Red lines connecting people, properties, and accounts. At the center of it all, like a spider in a web, was Tyler. "Do you still want to go through with this?" Madison asked. Ethan looked at a photo of Lily on the cracked table beside him. He had memorized her smile. He had lived inside the silence she left behind. "I am already in it," he said. "Now we finish it." Madison nodded. "Then we move carefully. We let them think they still have control." Because what Tyler and his people did not know was that someone they had underestimated was building a case too strong to bury, and that the next move was already in play. The Italian restaurant was quiet, dimly lit, and expensive, the kind of place where secrets felt safe. Tyler Grant arrived exactly at 8 p.m. Tailored suit, gold cufflinks, a smile that belonged to someone who believed he still owned the board. Ethan was already waiting at a corner table. He stood to greet him, masking every ounce of rage with calm. "Glad you could make it," Ethan said evenly. "Of course," Tyler replied, sliding into the seat across from him. "It has been too long. You look, well, considering everything." Ethan offered a tight smile. "Grief ages a man, but it also teaches him how to see clearly." Tyler raised his glass to clarity. Then, the waiter approached, a young boy with a mop of dark curls and sharp eyes. Jaden, N01, gave him a second look. Just another busboy in a borrowed apron, clearing plates, topping off water. But beneath his sleeves, tiny cameras recorded every word. Outside in a parked surveillance van, Madison watched the live feed on multiple screens. Her expression was still, but her fingers hovered near the microphone, ready. Back at the table, the conversation danced around memories, business, old friends. But Ethan shifted. "You remember that summer in Aspen?" he asked. Tyler chuckled. "When we got snowed in with that bottle of bourbon. You tried to cook." Ethan leaned forward, voice low. "And we promised never to lie to each other again." Tyler hesitated. His smile thinned. "I remember." Ethan's voice stayed gentle, but his eyes hardened. Funny how promises change when money gets involved. Tyler's tone grew defensive. "What exactly are you getting at?" "You were the only one who insisted I avoid the police when Lily disappeared," Ethan said. "You said it would complicate things." Tyler shrugged. "It would have. Kidnappers panic under pressure. You know that. And yet somehow, You were always one step ahead. Always knew where to look. We're not two. For a second, Tyler said. Nothing. Then he laughed softly. You think I had something to do with it? Ethan said nothing. Tyler leaned back. That is disappointing, Ethan, after everything we have been through. But Madison's voice crackled softly through Ethan's earpiece. He is slipping. Keep going. Ethan held up a small photo of Lily. She is alive. I know that now. And I know someone told her I gave up. That I stopped looking. Tyler's hand twitched. Ethan saw it. She called herself Elle. You know that name, do you not? Tyler's face tightened, just for a moment. Then came the smallest crack in his mask. A flicker of surprise he could not hide fast enough. I do not know what you think you have, he said slowly. But whatever it is, it will not be enough. Ethan smiled, cold and deliberate. You just made sure it is. And from behind the kitchen doors, Jaden slipped back into the shadows. Cameras still rolling, evidence still building. The trap had been set, and Tyler had just walked into it. Tyler lifted his wine glass with fake charm, but something in Ethan's eyes had changed. He was no longer the grieving father. He was a man who knew at that exact moment. Madison, watching from the surveillance van, gave a quiet command. Now, across social media, a live stream went live. The screen showed Tyler Grant sitting at a table inside the restaurant, unaware that the world was watching. Cameras hidden in flower pots, exit signs, and Jaden's apron all streamed in perfect clarity. The audio was sharp. Tyler's voice, his laughter, his arrogance, all of it. Inside the restaurant, Ethan placed a black folder on the table. Before you leave, I want you to see something. Tyler's smile faded. He opened the folder. Inside were printed bank records, property deeds, and emails linked to his shell companies. There were also photos of Lily's old bedroom, the pendant around her neck, and a blurry shot of a cabin outside town. Then Ethan placed a small velvet box between them. Tyler opened it. Inside was a child's bracelet, pink, worn, bent slightly at the clasp. He froze. She wore this every day, Ethan said. It was found in the same house Jaden described. Tyler pushed back his chair slowly. I am done with this. You have no idea what you are walking into. But before he could stand fully, the front door opened. 2 NYPD officers walked in, followed by a plainclothes detective. Tyler turned pale. What is this? Madison stepped in from the shadows. Evidence. Witnesses. And your voice, Tyler. Jaden appeared from the back of the restaurant. He held a small device in his hand. I was not sure if I should share this, Jaden said, loud enough for the officers to hear. But it felt wrong to keep it. He played the recording. It was crackly, but clear. Lily's voice, young and soft. Uncle Tyler said I cannot call Dad. He said Dad forgot about me. Tyler's face fell, his mouth opened, but no words came. The officers stepped forward. Mr. Grant, you are under arrest. Handcuffs clicked. Tyler looked around, and for the first time, realized every face in the room was watching him. Phone cameras were pointed at him. Screens outside the restaurant were already showing his face next to bold headlines. Billionaire betrayal. The man who kidnapped his best friend's daughter. Hashtag Justice for Lily was trending worldwide. His company's stock dropped 38% in 1 hour. Board members began resigning publicly. News channels picked up the live stream. Tyler's entire empire was crashing. As he was walked out by police, he turned to Ethan. You think this is justice? Ethan stood calmly, his voice steady. No, justice is what comes next. Behind him, Jaden and Madison stood together. They had done what no one believed they could. They had exposed the truth. And this was only the beginning. The hospital room was quiet, except for the soft beeping of machines and the gentle rustle of sheets. Lily sat on the edge of the bed, knees pulled close, her small fingers clutching a teddy bear someone had left by her side. When the door opened, she flinched. But then she saw him. Dad? Ethan froze in the doorway, tears already in his eyes. He crossed the room in 3 long steps and dropped to his knees. I never stopped looking, he said softly. I never gave up. Lily stared at him for a moment. Then, slowly, she smiled. Faint, hesitant, but real. She reached out, and Ethan held her, as if letting go would break him. Outside in the hallway, Jaden stood alone, watching through the small glass window. His hands were trembling. When Ethan stepped out minutes later, he saw the boy trying to hide his tears. I am sorry, Jaden whispered. I tried to keep her safe. Ethan pulled him into a hug, not out of duty, but out of something deeper. "You did more than I ever could," he said. "You saved her." In another part of the city, news channels ran back-to-back coverage. Tyler Grant arrested in billion-dollar betrayal. Missing girl found after brave teen exposes truth. The photo of Jaden and Lily was everywhere, and in a press room filled with flashing cameras, Madison gave a quiet interview. "No one expected this ending," she said. "But maybe it is a beginning instead." By the end of the day, Tyler Grant faced multiple federal charges, with more piling on. But for Ethan, only one thing mattered now: his daughter was alive, and the boy who brought her back was no longer invisible. He was family. 6 months had passed. The cold nights of fear and betrayal felt like a distant storm that had finally ended. Inside a quiet home just outside Manhattan, Ethan was setting the table for dinner. Lily sat on the floor nearby, laughing softly as she painted a butterfly on a piece of paper. Her eyes were brighter now. She had scars, yes, but she was healing. And for the first time in a long time, Ethan was smiling for real. That he had learned to listen more, to slow down, to hold her close without needing to fix everything. They were building something new, not perfect, but strong. Jaden walked in, holding a backpack full of school books. That he wore a new jacket and a school badge with his name on it. "Math test tomorrow," he said with a grin. Ethan gave him a look. "Ready for it?" Jaden shrugged. "Not even close." They both laughed, but behind that laugh was something deeper, a bond stronger than blood. Jaden was now family, officially adopted, fully loved. Down the street, Madison was finishing up her first meeting at the nonprofit she had started, the Light Found Project, a foundation that helped find and protect missing children. She knew there were more stories out there, more kids like Lily, more boys like Jaden. And now, there was hope. The screen slowly faded to black, and Ethan's voice returned in a final narration. "Some people wear the mask of family, but your true family are those who fight for your soul, not your silence. The ones who stand with you when no one else will. And when the world forgets your name, they remember your heart." The story had begun with loss, but it ended with purpose.